Hi, I'm Andy from Riedel, and in this video we're going to be explaining to you how to set up the MediorNet TDM Demo Kit. Now, if you're watching this video, it's probably because you've received a beautiful Peli case full of MediorNet TDM goodness that you're looking to connect together and try and work out how you can get it working in order to demonstrate it to its full advantage. Now, the way the kit was packaged together is designed to be as easy as possible for you to work with. So as you pull things out, the first thing you get to is the first thing you need to deal with. So on the first layer, the first tray in the case, you're going to have a micron. Now, when you're setting this up, if you're going to be following how I have this set up here, you're going to be setting that up on your left-hand side. So you put it on the left-hand side of the table. The second device that you take out is a micron UHD. You're going to put that in the middle. And then on the bottom layer, you're going to have another micron, which you're going to put on the right of your table. Now, when we're putting it together, it's already been configured with the cabling and the links between the frames so that it will work optimally. So we're going to redo that here, and you're going to see how it all goes together. We're going to start by dealing with the fiber. Now, you'll find that the fiber cables, they're pre-made. You'll have a QSFP, which will go into the micron UHD. So we're going to plug this one in here. Helps if you get it the right way around. So the top left slot, we're going to put that one in. And then on the LC connectors that are coming out, you'll find that these are labeled. So we're going to put 1 into number 1 on the micron, 2 into number 2, 3 into 3, and 4 into 4. So this is number 3. We're going to plug it in there. And just make yourself a coffee or something while I get busy with this. Number 4 will go in there. Number 2 will go in here. And number 1 will go in here. Now, hopefully when you receive the cable, it does have some dust covers on it, so please keep hold of those. But we now have the micron UHD linked into the micron number 1. So I'll leave that cable here. And then on the other side, we have another cable. So we can go from the micron UHD port number 2. We can plug that in. And then with the LC cables on this side, you can get yourself another coffee while I plug these ones in. So we have the fiber set up. The 3 are linked together just in a daisy chain, where that's probably not the kind of setup you would have in a real life situation. You'd probably also add in a little bit of extra fiber between the 2 microns, but that's fine for now. We're demonstrating how it works. We're not trying to simulate an actual real running system. The next thing that we're going to do is set up the power. You have the fiber connected now between the different frames. It's all set up and ready to go. Next thing we need to do is connect the power. Now, depending on which region you're in, the actual plug on the cable could look differently. In this case, we're using European plugs. If you're using American or Australian or any other kind of plug, that's fine. You'll find that on the end that you actually connect to the device, it looks like a standard IEC plug because it's a standard IEC plug. And then we're going to plug it in to the individual frames. Now, you'll see that there are 2 power inlets on each frame. It doesn't matter which one you use. Just plug it into one of the 2. The devices have redundant power supplies, so if you choose A or B, it doesn't matter. Now, you'll find that when you plug them in, they do start making a bit of noise. I'm going to do the 2 microns first because the micron UHD makes more noise when it's booting up. If you wait about 30 seconds to a minute after connecting the power, you'll find that the noise level will go down, and then you'll be at an operating noise level that is not really a problem for having conversations in the room or making a video. So these 2 are now booting up. This is going to get a little bit louder as I plug in the micron UHD. So that will start booting up now, and we're going to let it boot up, and then we'll come back and show you how you can start connecting all the different video signals. Now we're going to connect the video outputs to your system. We're going to use outputs 1, 2, and 3 on this micron, so the one that you took from the lower tray coming out of your Peli case. Now, when you get the kit, you'll find that in one of the trays you have a triple monitor that looks like this. For the purposes of this video, we're going to use bigger screens so it's easier to see on the video, but just be aware you'll be using something like this when you receive the kit. Now, I'm going to use here monitors 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to take an SDI cable, we're going to connect it to input. If there are two inputs on your video monitor, then just use input A. And we're going to take an SDI cable, plug it into the input of the monitor, and then we're going to take it from the output of the Micron. So I'm going to pass the cable through here. And then we have the first screen taking its output from number 1. We're then going to take the second screen, so this one here, and we're going to connect it to output number 2. Now, it's normal that while you're doing this, there's no signal coming up on the screens. We haven't set up the control interface of the Microns and Micron UHD yet. And also, we haven't connected any video inputs yet. So you can connect them. The screens are not going to display any kind of signal. That's normal. Don't worry about it. But we have the screens connected now. Now, let's have a look at how we connect the inputs. We're now going to connect the video sources to your TDM system. Now, the video player that you have in your system might look like the ones we have here. They might be a slightly different model. In either case, you will need to connect power to it. You'll need to be able to press play on the button, and they will then get an SDI output, which will come from the player. So we have here a player, we have an SDI cable, and for the player on this side, on the left, we are going to connect it to input number 1 on frame number 1. So we're going to plug the SDI cable in and make sure it's locked by twisting it round. And then same again on this side, we have another player on this side, which is running a video in a loop. We're going to connect this one to input number 1, which you can see is right here next to the MADI. So if you want to connect your laptop, you also have the option of using an HDMI to SDI converter, which you should also have in your kit. You would take the HDMI output from your laptop, put it into the converter, and then out of the converter, you can then get an SDI signal, which you can plug into the Micron UHD. So with the signal coming from the converter, we're going to link it into input A1, which is this one down here on the Micron UHD. So we're going to insert that. It's a little bit small and fiddly. So that is locked in, so we can then have a laptop signal coming in there. And also if you want to output to a big screen in the presentation room, maybe you have an HDMI input for that screen, we can also take an output from the Micron UHD, again using an SDI cable, which we would then link into an HDMI converter, which is also in the kit, and then you can connect in the HDMI cable for your screen into the converter. So that one we're going to link into output A7, which is right down here. So again, we're going to have the small fiddly connector, which we put in and then twist so it's locked. And then we have 8 SDI signals going into and coming out of the Micron UHD, which can go through converters so that you have HDMI links as well. Now we're going to have a look at how we can hook up the different control elements of the system. So you'll find that you have a little NUC or a small PC in your kit. This is running the MediorMind server software, which allows you to control the different MediorNet frames that you have in your system. You will also find that you have a little switch. It could be this, it might be another model. It's what we call a dumb switch. It's not a managed switch. It will simply have 8 ports. There's nothing to configure on it. It doesn't matter which port you use, just plug any cable into any port and it will be working fine. Now the elements that we need to connect together are firstly the NUC. So we're going to go into the network port. Now it'll be round the back. There should only be one network port on it. You want to put the cable in until it clicks. And then once it has clicked, then you can pull the network cable round and plug it into, like I said, any port on the switch that is available. We're also going to plug into the config port on one of the TDM frames. Now, I'm going to use this TDM frame. It really doesn't matter which one you use. So we're just going to link in the config port. It's on the Microns, it's next to where the power goes in. It's the bottom one. It's labeled config. So you really can't go wrong unless you're absolutely trying to. So again, we're going to plug that into the switch so that everything is linked into the switch. And then the next item we're going to plug in is a desktop panel, which we're going to then use in order to control the patching of the different video signals via the MediorMind server. And we're also going to have a laptop connected in so that you can see the software and you can change the parameters of maybe some of the video signals, and you can see all of the different options you have for configuring and setting up your MediorMind system. So make yourself a copy. I will plug in the panel for controlling it. I'll plug in the laptop, and then we'll come back and show you a little bit more. So you've now hooked everything up. You have the frames linked together with fiber. You have video signals going into them from the players. You have power connected. You have signals going out of the frames into 3 different screens. You have the data connection running for the control. So you have a NUC or a small PC running the MediorMind server software that would be connected to a mini switch. You also have a desktop panel, which is connected to the mini switch. You have one of the 3 frames using their config port connected to the switch. And you also have a laptop running the MediorWorks client software, also connected to the switch. Now with the MediorWorks client software, you can configure whatever you want within the MediorNet system, and you can also use the desktop panel for really easy switching of video signals. So on the main page, you can choose whichever output you're going to be dealing with. So for example, here for screen number 1, I can select that. And for now, I have the option of 2 different video signals, and I can just press the button and switch between them. So just by pressing the button, I'm affecting what happens on this screen. If I come back out by taking the back button, I can select the second monitor, so that would be this one. And again, I can switch between the different sources just by pressing a button on there, and it's the same for the third one over here. I can switch the source just by pressing the button on the panel. Now I can also integrate the HDMI signal coming from my laptop into here, so then I could display that on one of the monitors. And I can also use the HDMI signal that would go out to the client's big screen as a destination on the panel. So that way I can send either of the video players or the laptop signal to the big screen. I can also have a multi-viewer, which would be produced in the Micron UHD, and this would allow us to show multiple different sources together in one video image on one physical screen. And again, that would be the kind of thing that you could demonstrate during a demo of MediorNet TDM to the clients, so that they can see a multi-viewer being put together. You can use templates and layouts to put one together in around about 5 or 10 seconds if you want to be really impressive, or you can do it manually and be very creative. There's lots of things you can do with the multi-viewer. Now, but you have a system working now, so all that's left to do is impress the client and go out and conquer the world.